So if you want to turn your video on, you can do that. I can check you out. But if not, no pressure, okay? So if we could all just mute ourselves so that, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm muted here too. Okay, good, great. All right, guys, let's start standing, okay? And I'm not gonna be super visible here. I want us to come into a wide-legged forward fold with your favorite roller out in front of you. And then just take your hands on the roller and drop your head. And shake out the back of your neck, nod your head, yes. Let it drip, no. Work on keeping these earbuds in my ear. Just let yourself just kind of hang into gravity here and start to tick-tock your hips from side to side, opening out your inner thighs and your hamstrings. If the roller feels really far away, just prop yourself up a little bit. You can always bend your knees as generously as you feel like you want to, just to let yourself get as low down in this forward fold as possible. And then let's take a spiral stretch. So take one hand on the roller and spiral your other arm up to the sky. Push into the roller to lift your chest and turn your body open to the ceiling. Now let your head drip down toward the ground, just releasing any tension there in the right side of your neck, all the way from your ear up to your right fingertips. For me, that's the arm that's up above. Take a nice big inhale there. Exhale and reach your arm forward, forward, forward. And then walk your hands over to the opposite side of your roller. So for me, that's the left. I had my right arm up, walking hands to the left. Press your hips back to the other direction and drop your head. And then the side that's stretched open here, I want you to shrug that shoulder and kind of walk your hand a little bit farther so that you can really feel a stretch through your lat, through your waistline, pressing back through that back hip, and just reaching through the entire side body. Take an inhale there. Exhale to let yourself drop heavy and come back to center. Now take your other hand on the roller. For me, that's the left here. Spiral your left arm, or sorry, that's the right. That's like it matters to you. Take your left arm up to the sky and let your whole body turn open. Let your head drip down to the ground. Just think about creating the longest line between your left ear and your left thumb. And take a nice big inhale there. As you exhale, reach that reaching arm forward and then over to the opposite side of your roller. Take both hands that direction. Drop your head, press your hips back the other way, opposite the reach of your arms, and just shrug this front shoulder. Kind of even maybe walk your fingertips a little further away from the roller and take a nice big inhale into that whole side of your body. Exhale, soften, get a little heavier, and let yourself come back to center. Drip your head down low, and then bend your knees and take your knees onto the ground, just sitting behind your roller. So let's slide our legs one direction and take the roller in front of us, about 6 inches or so, okay? Come prop yourself up onto your elbow and take your top knee as close into your chest as you can. Set your knee on the roller. Let your foot hang forward and then bring your elbows together on the other side of the roller. And start to glide the roller all the way up towards your pelvis here and all the way back down towards your knee. So I'm going to be sort of switching my angles from time to time just to make sure that you guys can see me. I'm not there to adjust you. If you have any questions or feel confused about what we're doing or what we're supposed to be rolling, just unmute yourselves and ask me. That's totally okay. So as you come through the inner thigh here, from the knee all the way to the hip, find a spot that feels a little bit more sensational than the rest. Let yourself hover on top of that spot. And when you do, you are welcome to lie all the way down on your side and take any tension out of your neck and your shoulders and just minimize your movement with your top hip, rocking it forward and rocking it back. And then maybe playing with the engagement and stretch of your inner thigh while you're pinning it down. Maybe you wing your ankle up to the sky. Lower back down. Maybe you wing your ankle up and stretch your leg out in front of you. This will engage your inner thigh as you reach out through the toes, and then soften it back down. Just finding the active release techniques that work the best for you. And maybe that's none. Maybe just hanging here into gravity, into space. Good. Hopefully you're listening to something calming and soothing. The playlist that I sent out via Spotify is just our master roll playlist. I hit shuffle and let it roll. Brings my nervous system down. Whatever feels like it's doing that for you is a good idea. Classical, jazz, Radiohead, whatever it is. Bring your elbows onto the ground and start to glide back through the whole inner thigh, all the way down and up. The next time that roller comes up to the top of your inner thigh, straighten the top leg, bend your back leg, and then take a quarter turn away from your roller and bring that bent knee up next to you. I'm going to give you this awesome flattering angle here of my derriere, just to show you that we're splayed open here. Knees are splayed away from each other. Your elbows are on the ground. You walk those elbows forward and start to drag the roller down the inner edge of your quadricep to the inner edge of your knee, back up to the inner corner of your hip. And as you're gliding here, you're accessing the inner diagonal edge of the quadricep. I'm going to switch my angle just to give you a different perspective. So this inner diagonal edge of the quad, you're basically sort of holding yourself in a plank here to be able to access this. So let's find a spot on that inner edge of the quadricep. It might be up towards your hip, it might be down towards your knee, whatever feels like there's some tissues there that feel a little firmer, a little tighter. Hover on top of that spot. And if you want more sensation, a deeper release, bend your knee, scoop your pubic bone forward and find a deep stretch in your quadricep. And then extend back out. Maybe find another spot and do the same thing. Squeeze the heel in, scoop your pubic bone forward, and release. Start to pass back through that whole line, forward and back. And stay strong in your shoulders here. The silver lining of working our lower body before working the shoulders and the upper body is that we really have the opportunity to warm up the shoulders so that they're nice and warm and open when we go in there with deep tissue later. So stay strong for me and take that roller all the way to the top of your thigh. And then instead of that quarter turn, take another quarter turn and jump both thighs onto the roller. So now you're perpendicular with the roller and you've got both quadriceps on top of it. If you didn't quite get there as seamlessly as I just did, that's okay. Just get here and start to glide through the tops of your quads. At any time, if your shoulders need a break, feel free to jump off the roller and clasp your arms behind you, take a stretch, and come back in when you're ready. So just from rolling the inner edge of my right thigh, I'm feeling a big difference between my right thigh and my left thigh. Maybe you're feeling the same. Let's continue with that same leg that we were rolling, but this time come to the outer edge of the quadricep. And if you don't have a soft roller at home, this is a popular time for softer pressure. So what I'd recommend if you're on a firm roller is to place a bath towel in between your roller and your thighs. It'll make the pressure feel softer. Okay, so bring your roller all the way up to your pubic bone. And then I'm gonna work the right leg. That's the leg I was working before. Take my left hand to the ground And then bend my left knee and place it on the roller. For a different vantage point, this is what it looks like. So your hips are open about 45 degrees here. And then shift yourself back so that the roller hooks right underneath your hip bone. If you roll back any farther, you'd lump over your bone and into your belly, and that's not what you want. Stay up in those hip flexors, that hip crease. Bend your back leg and start to windshield wiper your lower leg from side to side. If you've got any tension in your hip flexors, you'll feel them turning around and activating underneath your pressure. That might feel really important for you. If it does, keep going. If you're ready to get a little bit deeper into the thigh and the quadricep and this whole outer line of the thigh, straighten the back leg again. Keep yourself at this open angle with your hips and start to drag yourself forward. Take it really slow, all the way down to the outer edge of your knee. Ooh, and all the way back up to those hip flexors. So this is not the IT band and it's not the top of the quad. What you're rolling is the vastus lateralis, and that's the outer diagonal edge of the quadricep. We did the inner diagonal corner, we did the top, and now we're completing the quad with the outer edge. This is a really sensitive and strong line of muscle tissue. So as you're rolling it, think about going really slow. It's a really thick band of muscle. It takes time to sink into it. So by going really slow, you're allowing the time it takes for the roller to soften into these tissues. And then go ahead and find a spot somewhere there on the outer edge of the quad. When you are ready, get really brave. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, relax your kneecap. Allow your leg to drop and hang into gravity. Start to move a little bit again. Maybe moving through the line to find a different spot. Or maybe you come to the same one, and that's okay too. Find a spot. Take your inhale, and as you exhale, conjure up some courage and relax the kneecap. You can just see that gentle drop of the lower leg. Legs surrendering on top of the pressure. Use your breath, focus on your exhales to really let your body soften against this pressure. The next time the roller makes its way up to the top of your thigh, bring it back into the crease of your hip, drop your back knee to the ground, and bring your other knee to meet it, coming onto your side. Now just lengthen the bottom arm and lie down on your side. Let the bottom knee soften into the floor, and take your top hand, root it into the ground in front of you as you start to rotate your hips forward and back. It's just a gentle rotation so that we're rolling through the meat of this bottom hip. So if the roller is up in your waistline, very uncomfortable, it's too high. If it's down on your thigh, oh, very uncomfortable, it's too low. You want it right in that sweet spot where your knee just reaches the ground. You're on the side of your hip. Now from where you are, straighten your top leg. Take an inhale as you reach out through those top toes. And when you exhale, soften your leg down into gravity and experience a side stretch here on this top lateral line of your body. If you want even more sensation there, I'm going to take this top hand Bring it all the way over and complete the lateral line from pinky finger to pinky toe. Take an inhale, reach a little longer. Exhale to soften down a little heavier. And then as you're ready, maybe you're not yet, take all the time you need. Bring yourself back up to your elbow. Bend both knees and just turn yourself open. Plant your feet on the ground. And start to glide the roller up and down the outer edge of your hip. It's a pretty small movement. Just coming from the top of the hip crest bone down to that greater trochanter, which is the top of your femur bone. You'll feel like this kind of bony joint junction in the bottom outer corner of your glute on this side. Allow yourself to roll close up to that joint or maybe right over it and find a spot. Let yourself just hover there. If your neck needs a little bit of support in this position, you can take your bottom hand, or the top hand rather, bring it onto your shoulder and create a pillow. Or wrap your top arm around, pick up your head, just to create some neck support. Totally up to you if you want to take advantage of either one of those things. Well, for me, I often feel a lot of tension in this bottom outer corner of the glute, which is where the femur bone comes and locks into the pelvis. There's this kind of like rounded joint here. It's all good to roll around that area if you already know that you don't have inflammation there that exists already. You would know. Bring both hands to the ground, or both feet to the ground rather. Come up onto that straight arm and just loop the other arm over your lap as you glide forward and glide back. So from a front view, all we're doing here is leaning to one side and going straight forward and straight backward. This allows us just to focus on one side of the glutes. The further you point your knees up to the sky, the more into the center line of this glute you're going to get. The more you point your knees to the side, the more into the outer edge of the hip and glute you're going to get. So just try to pick the place that feels the best for you. And then let's find a spot somewhere in those glutes. Feels like it needs just another moment to release. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale. Take both hands behind you, both feet on the floor, both hands on the floor, and just glide forward and back. Just let the roller come all the way down to the bottom of the glutes and all the way back to the sacrum bone. And then when you're ready, the next time the roller glides forward, your hips are going to set back behind the roller. Take the roller in front of you and turn your toes the other way, coming onto the other inner thigh, starting to work through the other leg, okay? So take the roller about 6 to 8 inches away from your body, and then bring your top knee as close into your chest as you can and set your knee on the roller. Bring your lower leg forward. Take both elbows together and start to just direct your belly toward the ground. That'll glide the roller up to your pelvis and back down to your knee. It only takes a few big passes to find one spot here. It feels like it just needs a little more attention. I found a couple. I'm lucky today. Take the roller onto one of those spots, and if you feel like it, you can lie all the way down onto your side. Just take any tension out of your neck and shoulders, and then start to just rock the top hip forward and back. You might move a little bit more intentionally here, bending your knee and winging your ankle up to the sky. Maybe extending all the way out, dropping back down. And choose any combination of movements here that feel productive. Gwen loves it when I say, find the spot where there's some opportunity for you to release. It's true. And as you're ready, take your elbows back up onto the ground. Take another couple of sweeping passes forward and back. And then stay right where you are. I'm just gonna change my orientation so that you can see me a little differently here. From where you are, let the roller come all the way up to the very top of your thigh, and then straighten the leg. Bend your other knee and take a quarter turn with your body away from the roller. Bring this back bent knee up next to you so that you're splaying your legs open. It's almost like you're kind of lying on your belly, or you're trying to, but the roller's in the way. Walk your elbows forward and start to drag the roller down the inner edge of your quadricep. You want this straight back leg to be turned out, just like your other knee. Again, kind of splayed open. Knees facing away from each other. Pelvis open to the ground. As the roller travels up and down the inner edge of your quadricep, find a spot that feels important. Let's hover there. And if you want to deepen your sensation, you're going to bend this back knee and scoop your pubic bone forward. If you can see that carving movement out with the abdominal wall. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. Find another spot, or maybe again, it's the same one. Let yourself hover there to deepen your sensation. Bend your knee. Scoop your pubic bone forward. Find a deep stretch while you pin down your quadricep. Extend your leg back out behind you. And travel again through the line, all the way from the inner edge of your knee down to the inner edge of your pelvis. When you're ready, take another quarter turn and then slide your back leg on the roller. So now again, here you are, perpendicular to the roller. Glide forward, glide back. Stay where you are. Keep allowing the roller just to glide down right above your knees, all the way to your pubic bone. And then you're basically making a circle, right? So bring yourself back down so that the roller's on your pubic bone. And for me, I was just rolling my left leg. So I'm going to turn away from my left leg and bring my right hand to the floor. So we're going to stay rolling the left leg. Bring your right knee up onto the roller. And then shift yourself back, and come into the crease of your hip flexors. So it's like a perfect place for the roller to nestle in. If you roll down too far, you'd lump over your hip bones. So just come right below it. Bend your knee and start to windshield wiper your lower leg. Good. From side to side. I can really feel this today. If this feels important to you, as you're swaying your lower leg from side to side, you should feel your hip flexors turn on and light up. The sensation will surely change as your leg moves. And if it feels important to you to stay there, feel free to stay. If you feel like you want to move on to the outer edge of that left quadricep, extend your leg back. Keep yourself at this open 45-degree angle, and then start to glide forward. Let the roller make its way down the outer diagonal edge of your quadricep. And all the way back up again. This vastus lateralis muscle, the outer edge of the quad, is one of the thickest, ropiest muscles in the body. It's really strong. It really does a lot for us with our posture, holding us upright. It can be surprising how much strength and tension we find in it. Take it really slow to try and soak through all the layers of this area. And then find a spot there. Hover on top of it. This is important. Take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your kneecap. Find the drop in your foot behind you. Let your quadricep melt and open up and absorb the roller. And start to travel through the line again. Just taking it slow and taking the time that's required to soften this line of muscle. Find another spot. Do the same thing. Inhale. Exhale, relax your leg. Let it drop on top of your roller. Work your way back through the line. From the outer edge of the knee, all the way up to the hip crease. And then find your way to the crease of your hip. Come onto your side and just let both knees drop toward the ground. So you're on the side of your hip, right? If your waistline's too high, down on your thigh, too intense and too low. Straighten your bottom arm and lie down. Take your top hand on the floor just to anchor yourself there. Start to rock your hips forward and back. Just wrapping the roller around the meat of your hip. When you're ready, extend your top leg long. Take an inhale, reach through it. Exhale, let the leg soften down into gravity. If you feel stable here, this bottom knee is stabilizing you on the ground, you're more than welcome to take the top arm and stretch through the whole line. Reach like it's the first stretch you're taking as you wake up in the morning. Inhale. Exhale, let yourself drop and soften. I like this stretch because for me it's measurable. Like when I started it, my leg was a lot higher, and now doing it more often, my leg can get a little lower, and that's an opening of the lateral line of your connective tissue, which can relieve lower back pain, neck, jaw tension, ankle issues, a lot of it. When you're ready, come back up onto your bottom elbow. Step your feet onto the ground. You might need to reposition yourself on your roller. Be my guest and do that. And then just let yourself glide up and down through the outer edge of the hip. It's a small area, just from the top of the hip crest down to that ball and socket joint. If your neck needs some support, create a pillow with your top hand, or wrap your top hand around and pick up your head. When you're ready, come up onto that straight arm and just sit on your roller, crossing the top arm over your lap. Again, gliding forward and gliding back, just straight forward, straight back. But because of how you're leaning, you're focusing on one glute more than the other. Feel free to find a spot on the glutes there. Let yourself just nestle into that place and take a breath. As you exhale, imagine your pelvis softens and melts and opens. Nice, guys. Take both hands behind you and take a couple passes through your glutes, just forward and back. And as you're ready, bring your hips in front of the roller and turn around to face your roller. Come to all fours. If you're not quite ready, just meet us when you're ready. You shrug your shoulders, give your shoulders a couple of rolls, and reverse your direction. And curl your toes behind you and press your hips up into a downward facing dog. Just allow your head to soften down to the ground. Pedal out your knees. And extend one leg up to the sky. Rotate through your ankle. Bend your knee and set your shin bone on top of the roller. And then with your back leg, just slide it back until your hips drop. Walk your hands forward and start to drag the roller down across your ankle. Keep your hips low. As you glide back, bring the roller just to the underside of your knee. And it's really tempting as you glide backward to lift your hips so that you're making room, but then you lose all your pressure. So stay friendly with the floor, stay really low, and just let that back leg in your hands help walk you back. You're rolling through your tibialis anterior here, which is just to the right of your tibia bone, or this is my right side, so it's to the right of it, just to the side. Finding that meat there. Let's pin down a spot within that meat. Hold it there. You are more than welcome to drop yourself down all the way to the floor. From where you are here, you got the option to flex and point and rotate your ankle of the leg that you're pinning down. Take another few passes forward and back. You might take another round of flexing and pointing your foot, or maybe you wave your knee from side to side, pinning down that tissue and just moving it around. When you're ready, bring both hands back to the floor, curl your back toes and pike your hips again, downward facing dog, pedal out your knees, bend right, bend left, extend the other leg up to the sky, rotate through your ankle, and bend your knee, and then bring it forward. Set your shin on the roller and slide your other foot back. Walk your hands forward and start to drag that roller up across your ankle joint. Keep your hips low, keep your chest low as you glide back just to the base of your knee. So again, this shin meet, tibialis muscle, just to the outside of the bone. So you're shifting your weight in a way that allows you to steamroll through this place. And then find a spot, pin it down. You might flex and point and rotate your ankle. You might wave your hips and your knee from side to side. Choose any movement that feels nourishing for you here. And begin to think about finishing this spot up. Glide through the line again. And the next time you bring yourself backward, drop that back knee on the ground. Take the other knee to meet it and pick up your roller. You're going to take your roller back behind your knees and really nestle as close into the knee as you can. This is going to be a little bit intense. I took this from Tammy Chang. She's such a genius when it comes to releasing the calves. So come forward, almost onto all fours, and then go ahead and sit back. Whew. And for me today, this roller is feeling a little slippery. Come forward to all fours. Sit back on top of your roller so that you're pinning the roller in between your calves and your hips. Now, right away, if your calves are tight, or even if they're not, you might feel like this is kind of intense. Just start to very gently and subtly shift your hips from side to side. It's a really small, minimal movement. If you have a soft roller at home, a blue roller, then that roller is probably able to get a little bit higher up your calves. If you have a firm roller here like me, then the roller drops a little bit lower to your Achilles tendons. Just let it go where it wants to go. And then find a spot when your hips are shifting side to side. Find an angle that feels a little bit more intense than the rest. If your wrists are just feeling a little tired, you can always come down onto your forearms. There should not be a whole lot of weight in your arms and hands. Most of your weight is shifted back into your roller. Take a nice big inhale. And just take a moment to let your hips drop. Try to imagine that the arches of your feet can relax here and surrender. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. Bring yourself up, and you might do it again. Sit your hips down, shift from side to side. Really, really subtle, quiet movement. Find an angle. Feels like it's affecting good change. Take a breath. When you exhale, relax your calves, relax your feet. Lift your hips off the roller and take the roller in front of you. Let's just rinse out those calves. Hands behind you, calves on top of the roller. Cross one ankle over the other and bend and lengthen, bend and lengthen. If you have a slippery floor like I do, as you bend, you'll glide backward. As you slide forward, straighten your legs. Pull back, push forward. If you don't have a slippery floor, there's no reason why you need to get a huge workout by lifting your hips. Keep your hips dropped, but just chunk your calves into two parts. So do the lower leg first, and then bring it up and do the upper calf. Good. Turn your toes in and out. And then switch your legs. Cross your other ankle on top. Glide forward and back. Rolling the calves this way, it's a popular time for a hard roller. But if your calves are feeling tender and sensitive, then rolling with a soft object is a really powerful thing to do. Bring both calves on the roller at the same time and just brush them forward. Turn your toes out, turn your toes in, just rinsing through the calves. Not nearly enough time to work out the tension in them if you have some, but a little bit goes a long way. Take the roller behind you now. Bring it back behind your shoulder blades. Clasp your hands together and let your head drop back into your hands. Melt your spine into the roller and start to drag the roller all the way up into your neck and back down to the base of your shoulder blades. Good. Just opening out the shoulders briefly before we get a little bit more specific in the side of the body. The next time the roller comes downward, tuck your chin into your chest and set your hips down, and then roll to one side. I want you to take the roller way down, right above your hip bone. Your pelvis is on the ground, and you're really bringing the roller as low as you can so that it nestles into your waistline. Now, most of the time in class, we do this with a soft roller because we roll into our belly, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna stay on the waistline and in the low back. If you have a blue soft roller at home, it's a good idea to just use that one. Take your top knee and plant it behind you. Straighten your bottom leg and keep the roller right where it is as you start to rotate just about 45 degrees open and back onto your side. The other thing about doing this with a firm roller that has a 6-inch diameter is that it feels a bit big for this area. So just kind of move small and imagine that the roller is just wedging its way as deep into your waistline as it can get. You never run a roll completely open because we don't like to put pressure straight into the spine and straight into the kidneys. So we come into this angle, just about 45 degrees and back to the side. Wedge our way into the QL in the low back. And find a place here where it feels like maybe you can investigate a little bit more sensation. Take a big breath. Exhale, let your waistline soak in that roller. And then when you're ready, turn back onto your side. Lengthen both legs and glide your way down so that the roller comes just to the side of your rib cage. Bring your elbow to the ground, head in your hand, and start to rotate forward, not so much that you're smashing any breast tissue you might have, but just enough to come in contact with the ribs, and then backward towards your spine. You're wrapping the roller around your rib cage, around your lat. On a firm roller, this can feel intense. It can feel a little bony because there's not a lot of layers of muscle between your ribs and your roller. But the muscle that is here often tenses up and deserves to be worked on. If you need to soften your roller, just place a towel in between you and the roller or switch to a soft roller. Find a place there on your lat. You might glide down and up, just gently, small movements to hone in on one spot. It feels like there's more tension collected there than the others. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale it out. Get a little deeper into the lat by planting this bottom hand onto the ground and really pushing in. That'll light up and activate the lat as you're pinning it down. And then sweep your top arm around to support your head while you glide down and up and side to side. If this feels real ouchy, then your lat is maybe a little bit too tight for this activation exercise. So come back to here and just relax. Wherever you are, take one more inhale, expand your ribs into the roller. Exhale to release and soften. Straighten out your legs again and bring that roller back behind your shoulder blade. Return your head to your hand and rock your rib cage open and forward. Just wrapping that roller around your shoulder blade. If you want more sensation here, bring your top arm around to pick up your bottom wrist so that the elbow comes away from the ground. And then rest your head in your elbow. And again, rock open and forward. Maybe down and up. Just getting to know the back of the rotator cuff and what tension lives here. And when you are ready to take this to a deeper place, straighten both legs out. Extend your bottom arm. Take your top hand onto the roller and rest your head on that bottom arm. Now slide yourself against your floor so that the roller comes all the way up your elbow, up to your elbow, and all the way back down to your shoulder blade. You're gliding through your triceps, which is a really ropey group of muscles. So to find the angle of the rope that feels the most productive for you, you might flip your palm up, flip your palm down, and then steamroll through the tricep at that angle. Hover on top of a spot that feels significant to you. And then just let your ribs get really heavy to the ground. I like to bend this bottom knee in front and extend the top leg long and take an inhale. Exhale, soften into gravity. You might choose to bend your elbow. Maybe make a fist and reach out through your arm to activate the tricep. Maybe rotate through the wrist. Any combination of movements that feel best for you are the best thing for you. Take another nice deep breath in wherever you are. And exhale to get heavy. And then as you are ready, glide your roller back down to your shoulder blade. Open yourself back up to the sky. Clasp your hands back behind your head. Lift your hips and take a pass through your upper back, all the way up to the back of your neck and all the way down to the middle of your shoulder blades. For a moment, let your elbows drop away from each other and see if you can feel a difference in mobility from one shoulder to the other. And go ahead and next time the roller glides downward, tuck your chin into your chest, step your feet back, and then roll onto your other side. Now, just for your visual sake, I'm gonna turn to face you again. You're on your side. Bring that roller as close down towards your pelvis as you can. Keep your pelvis on the ground, but just really nestle the roller into your waistline. And then straighten your bottom leg to open out the waistline a little bit more. Bring your top knee bent, foot on the ground, and start to rotate the roller into the crevice of your low back and rotate back onto your waistline. So again, in class, because we have all the props, we always use a soft blue roller, a soft OPTP roller for this move, just because it's kind of a vulnerable place. You can do it with a firm roller. You just have to move smaller and be careful and be aware of how this is feeling. If you're feeling like this is just too much sensation, then try to find a softer prop, maybe a bath towel, or just sit this one out. I happen to know that a lot of you guys at home joining us for these classes have the soft roller, so hopefully you're using it. Find a spot in your low back. Feels like it needs a little more attention, and then take an inhale, press your back into the roller with your breath. And exhale, absorb the roller. Roll back onto your side. Stretch your legs out and glide the roller down to the side of your rib cage. Bring your elbow on the ground, head in hand, and just start to rotate forward and back. Just gliding through your ribs, finding any spots in the lat. You might glide down and up. You're just about mid rib cage. Find a place in the lat, sort of that flank steak on the side of your rib cage to pin down. And then take an inhale and exhale. Just let yourself melt into the pressure. If you want more sensation, you're gonna take the top arm around, pick up your head while you band the bottom hand onto the ground and really push down. This will activate your lat as you're pinning it down. And start to move through it. Small movements up and down, side to side, while you're pinning down your lat. A self-active release technique there. Wherever you are, take a nice big breath. Imagine you can expand your ribs into the roller. And exhale to drop in a little heavier. From where you are, stretch your legs out again. Glide yourself down and bring that roller just behind your shoulder blade. Replace your head in your bottom hand. Start to rock forward and back and maybe down and up. Just moving through the back of your rotator cuff. And if you feel like you want more sensation here, wrap the top arm around. Pick up your elbow and let your head rest into it. This is all about you just searching around each place for the different sensations and then choosing one of those sensations and following it. So find a spot here, take a big breath, expand through your ribs. And exhale, sink a little heavier, get a little deeper. When you are ready for it, let the bottom arm come long, drop your head on top of it, and take your top hand to the roller. Stretch your legs straight again and start to glide yourself downward, bringing the roller up to the tip of your elbow and back down to your shoulder blade. This ropey tricep is sort of an opportunity for you to find the angle that feels the best for you. Steamroll through that angle. And then find a spot. Let your ribs get soft and drip heavy. Take a breath and exhale. Get a little deeper. You might bend your elbow. Ooh. So necessary. And lengthen back out again. When you're ready, find your way back to your shoulder blade. Open yourself back up to the sky. Clasp your hands back behind your head and drape your spine over the roller. Lift your hips, but let them be heavy. They don't have to be here. And glide the roller all the way through your rib cage, down your shoulder blades and up to your neck. Let your elbows drop away from each other again. See if you can feel a difference in mobility now from when you started to this moment. Squeeze your elbows around your face and then take the roller up high on your back and lift your hips now as high as you can. Keep your elbows pointing upward as you let your head drip back and start to slowly comb the roller down the inner edges of your shoulder blades. Staying up at the very top of your back. Nice, guys. Take that roller back behind your neck. Set your hips down. And then just nestle the roller back behind your neck as you rest your back on the ground. And start to turn your gaze from one side to the other. And then turn that gaze into a figure 8 movement, carving your nose up and over, arcing the back of your skull into the back of the roller. And take your head over to one side And just make smaller movements, nodding your head, circulating through your nose. And take it the other way and do the same thing, nodding your head, circulating through your nose. Really just trying to release the neck tissues from the skull. Open out that attachment zone. And then use your hands and bring your roller right back to the back of your skull. Hold on to your roller so that it doesn't go anywhere here as you nod your chin up and down. And then side to side. And we're coming up on the end of our hour here. If you need to jump off, I totally understand. But if you want to just take one more important move with me, then roll to one side. Press yourself up to sitting. And bring your roller next to you as you come to all fours. From here, take your arm out to the side, one of them. Flip your palm up to face the sky so you're internally rotating your arm, and then bring the roller right to the front of your shoulder. You're gonna straighten both legs and lie down on your belly as you prop that roller up underneath the shoulder bone. Now from here, take your other hand out to the side, drop your chin into your chest, and look toward that other hand as you bend that knee and peel it behind you to come into a big open chest and shoulder stretch for this side. You started with both legs down on the ground, but you're gonna turn and peel away from your roller and pick up the top leg. Try to attempt to tap it behind you. Again, tuck your chin into your chest and just try your best to let your head soften into gravity. Take a few breaths here. Every time you inhale, expanding through that open collarbone, and exhale, drawing the shoulder blade a little closer to the spine. Another big breath to finish. Exhale and take the top leg, bring it out in front of you with a bent knee. And just begin to drag the roller down to the pit of your elbow and back up to the front of the shoulder. So if you want to see this from a slightly different vantage point, you are parallel to the roller. The front knees just soft on the ground as you drag yourself toward it and back, allowing the roller to travel through your bicep in the front of your shoulder, and then find a spot somewhere along that line. You're welcome to take your other hand underneath your head as a pillow and take a breath to absorb the pressure. And exhale. And when you're ready, bring that roller to the front of your shoulder again. Press both hands into the ground and come up to all fours. Reposition yourself and take the roller to the other side of your body. Well, hopefully that was too good that you can't skip the second side. Take your arm, hover it over the roller, and scoop your palm up to the sky. Then go ahead and straighten both legs. Lie down on your front side as you connect the front of your shoulder to the roller. Tuck your chin down into your chest. Turn your head toward your floor hand, and then bend that same knee and peel it behind you. And sometimes, depending on how close you started toward the roller, you might need to scoot yourself away a little bit. Drop your chin into your chest and allow your neck to drop to the ground. Every inhale expands your collarbone a little bit wider. And every exhale squeezes that shoulder blade into your spine a little deeper. Take another couple of breaths here. Just experiencing this open chest stretch. And as you're ready, take that top knee and bring it out next to you on the floor. Use your floor hand, your supportive hand, to drag yourself forward, letting the roller travel down your bicep, back up to the front of your shoulder. Find a spot somewhere along that line, and when you get there, take that floor hand and just create a pillow for your head so that you can rest the front of your arm on the roller and breathe. When you are ready, glide the roller back into the front of your shoulder. Take your hands back to the floor to press yourself up and come to all fours. Curl your toes behind you and sit your hips back towards your heels into a crouch. Hands to the floor. Drop your head and let gravity just release through your spine, out your tailbones and out the top of your head. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale to release. Inhale, reach your hips high to the sky, forward fold. Let your knees just be as generously bent as they want to be and shake out the back of your neck, nod at yes. Keep your knees bent, take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, put your weight back in your heels and begin to drag through your spine. Take it really slow, combing through each vertebrae until your head finally stacks up on top of your shoulders. Now, because I'm out of view, I'm going to sit, but just pretend I'm standing. When you get to the top, take an inhale, sweep your arms high to the sky. Exhale, reach out beyond your edges. Again, inhale, take it up top. Exhale, reach backward. As you do, tuck your chin into your chest. One more time together. Inhale, take your arms sky high. This time when you exhale, bring your hands together. Draw them down into your center. And thank yourselves for spending an hour on your bodies, out of your minds today. Thank you, guys. Round of applause for all of you. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to say anything to me. Tell me how that went for you. I'm here to listen. Otherwise, I will see you next time.
That was fantastic.
Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, guys. Good to have you.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Miriam. Good seeing you.
Bye, Maggie. Bye, Tam.
Bye, Gwen.
Bye.